Hello everyone, my name is Kingsford Uram Foley, a student of BYU Pathway Worldwide, um, pursuing Cloud Administration Term 6 2025. This is week 7 and we are about to do the assignment what do you call it? Let's start here. We're about to do the assignment final project, which is virtual machine creation. So let's head into the model and see what it entails. So let's go to the instructions. Here it says demonstrate. To demonstrate your mastery of concepts you have learned through, it's basically telling us what we've learned throughout the week. So throughout the term, and here are the following instructions. You see, review the rubric so you understand what it's expected for full credit. So I'm going to pause the video here and then read through the rubric. So we're back, and it says review the notes and feedback from your Ensign Student Success Center assignment. That was I think week 5. And it says here we should delete all old virtual machines. I'm about to use the VirtualBox hypervisor for my virtual machine creation because for some reason my I was installing Windows 11 as well, so it's almost done. Anyway, for some reason my Azure for Students subscription doesn't seem to work, so I'm going to use the VirtualBox hypervisor to install my virtual machine. So without further ado, let's click new. Let's see what the instruction says here. Create a new virtual machine running Windows Server 2025 data center. Unfortunately, again, I do not have the 2025 version. I have the 2022. So let's use that, unless time is not on our side to download a new 2025 ISO. So let's use the 2022 version and hope it does the same work we are supposed to do. So let's go to the hypervisor. Here, remember, we click new, so I'm going to call this Windows Server Data Center. The installation folder is already pre-selected, so let's just choose the ISO file, and this is my Windows Server ISO file. I pick it, and I'm going to uncheck this proceed with unattended installation because sometimes we might need to configure some things before we move on. And with this, if we don't uncheck that, it might give us problems. We click next. For the base RAM, for virtual RAM, we allocate 4 GB of RAM. For the virtual CPU, we allocate 4 CPUs, and we leave the virtual disk at 50 gigabyte, and then we check the use EFI, click next, and then we click finish. So you see our virtual machine here. Let's see if this is done. Our virtual machine here says virtual Windows Server Data Center. So now let's power it up by clicking start. So we can install our virtual machine data center. So it's powering it up. Now it's powered up. Just press. Almost 11 is almost done. So let's go back to our Windows server. Pardon my jumping from one machine to the other. I will have to pause the video because this process sometimes takes time, so let me pause it, and then when the configuration comes up, I'll just come back and follow the installation. So we are the first page of the installation. We have to click next, and then we click install. Sometimes this also takes time, so pardon me with the says setup is starting. So we pick this, the Windows Server 2022 data center evaluation desktop experience 64-bit. So let's just click next. We accept the terms and conditions. We click next, choose custom installation. Annotated disk is already pre-selected, so we click next since it's the only hard disk. Okay, on this page it might take a while for this process to get finished, so I'll pause the video and we'll continue after that. So that phase of installation is done, and we are continuing the installation. It says getting ready. This can also take a few minutes, so let's be patient. If it's getting too long, I'll have to pause the video again. Looks like you will have to wait a few minutes. So I'm going to pause the video again while the virtual machine gets ready. So that our machine is ready. Let's now set up our password. And finish it up. So our Windows server is almost done, but before we sign in, let's insert what we call the guest edition so that we can be able to have a full screen. As of now, we might not be able to have a full screen, so we are signing in as an administrator. So let's input our password we just created for the account. It's in now. Okay, it's applying changes and preferring windows and all that. So it's setting up. Desktop is opened up. Our server manager is booting up. Asking if we want PC to be discovered by the PCs. Yes. Says, when it boots up, first thing it says configure your local server, add roles and features, add other servers to manage, create a server group, connect. We are not going to use that right now, so we just have to hide it. Remember, I said we'll be inserting guest additions so that we can have a full screen. So let's do that now. Let's minimize our server manager and then click File Explorer. Click on this PC. Now we see here the guest additions. It has been mounted here on a drive, like a drive D. So what we do is we double click it. It opens up, and since we installed the 64 bit machine, so we go to the VirtualBox Windows Additions AMD 64 bit, and then we double click it or right click to run it. Click next, click next again, and then install. This might also take a few minutes, so I might have to pause the video. So the guest additions is done installing. So it says reboot now. Yes, let's reboot our machine, Windows Server, so it can take full effect. So it's restarting. So machine has rebooted. Now let's sign back in using the keyboard, insert Control Alt Delete as administrator. So let's input our password. Once again, pardon me for my background noise because I live. You could see, the screen is glitching up some way. It means that our guest additions we installed for full screen has taken effect. Like, see it now, we have a full screen. So let's allow the server manager to fully boot up. Now since we have our server manager booted up, let's go back to the instructions. Okay, it says create a new virtual machine, which we just did. Create a new domain and enable the needed features in server manager. The domain should be called ensignsuccess.co. okay, so we are going to back to our server manager, and now we are going to install a domain. So how do we do that? We go to here to the manage, the top right corner. Before I do that, it looks like our resolution is a little too small, so we go to our settings in order to increase the resolution a bit, because and then we'll go to system, then we see here we scale it up. It's 100%, but it's at least let's make it 125 so we can at least magnify the writing a bit. Let's see 150%. Let's see how it turns out. Not bad, not bad. Yeah, not bad. Let's manage this. So we'll go here to the manage, where we see add roles and features like the instruction says. So this is basically telling us, it's like a something like you be telling us how important what we are going to do, so we just skip and then go to the next. Roles and features, so we are going to pick the role based and feature based installation, not remote desk services, no. So we go to next, and then we select a server from a server pool. We do not have any several servers, so just one server here, so we click next. And to turn this into a domain, we have to install an Active Directory service, ADDS, which is this. So we click it, we check it, and then we click next, click next again, and then next, we install. So this might also take a few more minutes, so I'm going to pause it now, pause the video, and then when it's done, we'll continue. So the installation is done. We close it, and then we see here there's a notification here which says that we have to promote the domain. We have to promote the installation, our server, to a domain controller. So let's click that, and then over here it says select the deployment operation. We are installing a new forest, so we add a new forest since there isn't any domain here. So we check that, and then we click we put our domain name here, which the assignment says we should do as ensignsuccess.co. So we click next. Over here it's saying select functional level of the new forest and root domain. The forest is functional Windows 2016, and there are certain specified capabilities, which is the DNS service, DNS system, the domain name system server. It has to be a global catalog, the GC. So now let's put our password in. The password has to be something we can remember. It has to be at least 12. Click next. then next again. It's now looking for the net BIOS to see if the domain name we created can be found. Yes, it found it. So next. This is just a folder where we store the files and all that. If the ideal thing would be if you had different drives to store all this, but system logs and all that. But since it's just a sort of a demo installation, we just leave all of them there and then click next. These are the scripts for your installation. You click that. So this might also take a few minutes to install, so we click install here. So let me pause the video. When installation is done, then we come back. In the fact that you think that after it says you're about to log out. Our installation is done. It's been promoted to a domain controller, so let's click OK. It will restart since we've just done that, and then we pause the video for it to restart again. Our installation is done, and now we have promoted our server to a domain controller. So you can see here Ensign success as administrator. So let's just log in. Just booting up. So let's go to the local server. We see here. So let's check here and see if our server has been promoted to a domain. Yes, it has. You can see here domain which says ensign success.com. The private distance is on. We have the remote management is enabled. The remote desktop is not, so let's enable that. Allow, apply, on. To take a few minutes to show, and it says our NIC network identification card is turned off. I don't know so we have to also make sure that is turned on as well. So we see our Ethernet card here. What do? We add a new NIC team, so we name it Ensign NIC, and then with the additional, since it's a virtual machine, we choose here with the teaming mode. We can leave it at switch independently, but since it's and with the load balancing mode, we choose the address hash since this is a virtual machine. And then okay, usually say faulty and then maybe turn back to okay. So let's see, it's now okay. So let's close this real quick. It might take some time for it to show up, so let's minimize this. Now we've installed our Active Directory service, the DDS, and then promoted it to a domain. So now you see here the remote desktop is enabled, the nick theming also is enabled. So let's go back to the instructions and see what's written there. So we've done this. Now it says create your OUs and structures you plan to use in your Ensign student success center assignment. That was, I think, week 5. I think week 5 or week 6. So let's go open that up and see. Let's go to okay, this is it, the OUs we wanted to create. We go to the top. Okay, we see organizational success center. Okay, and then the OUs are managers and advisors, and we have staff as well, staff for computers. We have so which means what we are going to be creating is the for the OUs will be the managers and the advisors organizational units. So let's go back to our server, and to do that, let's open up the server manager. To do that, we go to the tools, and then we pick we select users and control Active Directory users and computers. We click that. Then on our domain server, we see here the domain. What we do right now is right click it, and then we create new organizational units, which is here, new. We go to organizational units, OU, and then we name it managers. The first one is managers. Okay, then the second one will be called advisors. So we've created the two organizational units, OUs, which are managers and advisors. Let's go back to the assignment and see what's next. Okay, create users and backup domain administrator account. Okay, and then it says here the users access rights and roles are what's important. You can name your users however you wish. Okay, let's go to users should be as follows: 1 center manager, 5 student advisors, 1 additional domain administrator. So we are supposed to create 6 users here, no 7, 5 plus 1 plus 1, but 1 has to be a domain administrator. So first, let's create 1 center manager. So let's call that John center manager. So let's go to our server. In here, we click on our domain, and then new, come down to user, call this John center manager, and then the login we do it center manager at ensignsuccess.com. Click next with let's create a password. made a mistake. And then with the password, we say it never expires. Okay, and then finish. We have to create the next one. Says we should create 5 student advisors. So come here, so we create new user. So we'll call this one James advisor. So we say James advisor at ensign. Next, we put in the password. Then we click password never advise, never expire, sorry. Then we go next, we finish it up. So this is the first student advisor. I'm going to pause the video since it's take us some time to create the 4. So we've created 5 additional administrators. So I'm going to create 5 additional student advisors. So I'm going to create a second administrator. Backup administrator, it's a user. So basically it's the same procedure. So I'll pause it, and then when I'm done, so yeah, it says full name administrator backup, and then login name is admin backup, and password never expires. So we're done with that. So we see 5 advisor. We see the backup administrator here. We see 5 advisors, which is Foley advisor, James advisor, Kingsford advisor, Kofi advisor, and Yao advisor. So let's go to the instructions again and see what we are supposed to do next. What does it say here? Okay, we've done that. Now create your document folders and files. Folders shall be as follows: advising documents and admin reports. Okay, so we've created this, but before we start creating our document, we need to group these people into their various groups, put them into their various groups. So let's come back here. Now remember, we have student advisors, administrators, and managers. So since we have organizational units, these units need to have groups in them, and the first thing we'll create are groups. So we'll create new, then we'll create a group. We are going to call this group student advisors. And it's supposed to be a global. We are going to leave it at global security. So you see student advisors global. Let me just drag this here, and then the names can be Yep, so we see it here, student advisors. Then we create center managers as the second group. Also a global security. So next, you see it here. Now, since we have created groups, these groups are supposed to be put in the organizational unit containers. So what do? We come here, right click on one of the groups, which is center managers, and then move it into our organizational unit, which is the managers. Immediately we do that, we see that it is missing here. So let's go into managers. Now here we find managers here in the organizational unit, managers. As find the center managers in the organizational unit, managers. So let's go back to the domain, and then we come to student advisors. We move that also into our advisors organizational unit. So we put it here, and then we see it disappear, and then we don't find it here anymore. But when we go to the advisors container, organizational unit container, we see the student advisors. Now the next thing we are going to be doing is putting these students or these users into their various groups. And in the student advisor group, we right click here and then go to properties. Now in the properties, you see here members tab. Click on the members tab, and then we add members to this group. Then what we do, we see, since we do not we have to find the names or the members of that group. So let's say we type in Yao, and then we check the name. Yes, there's an advisor called Yao, so we add Yao to it. The next one, we look for Kofi and see if we get Kofi. Yes, Kofi is an advisor. We add it. You see it here. I'm going to pause the video and add 3 others to it to make the video a little shorter because it's getting longer. So we added 3 additional more. Kofi, we see here all the advisors: Foley advisor, James advisor, Kingsford advisor, Kofi advisor, Yao advisor. So now we apply, and then click OK. Then we go to managers. In the managers container, we go to the groups. Right click the groups, properties, go to the members tab, and then we add. And we know only one center manager, so let's give I think that was James. Let's find James. Check. Yes, no, James is an advisor. So John, find John. Yes, John is a manager, so center manager. Remember, he's the only center manager. We apply, then click OK. So now in our domain, we have our organizational units, we have our groups in these organizational units. So let's go to managers. In the managers, we have the center managers group, and then when we check those in the group, we go to members. We see that it is John, the center manager, who is there. Now we come to advisors, and we see that in the advisors we have student advisors group, and then in the group we have the members as Foley, James, Kingsford, Kofi, and Yao. So now we've grouped our users into their various we'll put them into their various groups, and those groups have also been put in their various organizational units. So now let's go to the next assignment, next instruction. It says here, create a document, your document folders and files. Folders and files shall be as follows: advising documents and admin reports. Okay, so let's go into our so we come here to the desktop page, create a folder, new folder, and it says advising document folder, and then the next one is what? Admin reports folder. New, so admin reports folder. Arrange by maybe sort by size, so you see it here. Oh, there's a new folder created here, and then just delete this. So we have admin reports, and so now let's go to the next instruction. It says the next instruction is now says that we should do it in the various files shall be created in the advising text, and then admin report text file in the two folders. So let's go there. So go to the so let's create a new file in this folder. And then text file, so advising document text file. So we created it. Let's close the window. Now let's go into the sorry, we made a mistake. Let's go back here. Let's delete it. I don't know what's wrong with my desktop. It seems to be freezing up somewhere, somehow. Forgive me. So let's create in this folder admin report text file. So let's name it. It's a text file, so let's give it a name. Admin reports. Let's close the window. Now let's go to advising document. Open it up. Create a new file, text file. So we say advising document text file. So in both folders, we've been able to create 2 text files. You see here the advising document folder, which has the the advising documents in it, and then with the admin folder, admin reports folder, has the admin report text file. So the next assignment to do here is that it says apply the relevant access rights advising document share folder. Student advisors and the manager need to be able to read this. So we are going to apply certain rights to this folders. So let's go to our folders. Let's close these windows here. Then we'll go to properties of the admin reports. We go to sharing. Then we come to share. Go to sharing, and then we come to share here, and then we find people. What did the instructions say? It says what? Okay, so here apply this one to share folder should be to advisors. Okay, advising documents. Apply the one. Okay. Advising documents share folder to student advisors and the manager need to be able to read and write documents here. So the people who we are supposed to give those rights to are the managers and student advisors. So what do? We find student advisors. So we check names. Yeah, student advisors as groups. Give them the read and write, and then we add another one. Says managers. So let's say center managers. Center managers. Let's see. Okay, there is. So we add the center managers to it, and then we assign read and write rights to these groups. We click share. So this is the path of the share. Click none. Done. We come to the advanced. We click here. and then the sharing share name is admin reports. So give permissions to we give permissions to again student advisors, check name, and they can read, and then we add another one, check, okay, sorry, center managers. Okay, so we go to center managers and we add okay. So that can read and write, can read, and we apply changes, click OK, and then we click apply. So we see the permissions which has been granted to the managers and the advisors. So we click apply again, and then we click OK, click close. Now let's come to the next one. What is this? Admin report share to center manager. Okay, should have access. Only the admin report says that it's only the center manager that will have rights to this admin folder. So admin reports folder. So let's go back there and then click on the admin report folder, properties, come to sharing and share only center managers, right? Okay, I think I made a mistake in the first one, so I'm going to remove student advisors from this one, and then share, done. Advance the permissions, I will take out student advisors as well, and then apply permissions, and then okay, then we are done. So let's go to the advising, which has advisors and center managers. So let's go to this properties, sharing, share, find people, we have students, check names, yes, student advisors, we give them read and write, right, and then we add another one, managers, center managers. So check. So the manager, who is the center manager, so we can add center managers to it, or John, the center manager specifically. Okay, and then read and write, we share, then we come to advance here, and then come to permissions, we add John, check, center manager, we add advisors, the group, student advisors group. Okay, can we apply, since it's only read and write permissions they're supposed to have, so we apply this as well, and then click OK. Now what does it say? Says using group policies. This should be done via group policy. Don't forget there are two kinds of group policies. User, okay, it's telling us the type of group policies. User GPOs cover the things like desktop background, and okay, you should utilize naming and description of group policies to make it easy to know you have created and done. So these are it. So it says here, these settings follow user. Okay, these settings follow the user. Okay, whichever user you create, whatever permissions you give here, policies you create here, does affect them. So computer GPUs, these settings apply to device itself and affect your user login into it, such as computer. Okay, all staff computers, that's managers and advisors, must have a standardized desktop background featuring the Ensign College logo. Okay, this should be enforced by group policy. Hence, you should need to create a local version of this logo to reference your group policy to. You need to create a local version of this logo. Okay, the web browser by default must open to Ensign. Okay, a strong password policy of 12 characters and requiring complexity must be enforced for all accounts. So basically we are going to use the group policy to change the desktop background, and it must be enforced so that every user that logs into their account has that desktop background. That's what it's saying. So let's try it and see. It says we should use the group policy management tool. So we come back to our server, go to the tools, we see here, but before we do that we have to get a picture for our Ensign, which has the Ensign College. So let's first get a picture. I've downloaded one, I think Ensign logo, in one of the folders in my main local. Yes, this is it. So let's just copy it here and then copy, and let's go into our server, open File Explorer, and then we create a folder, the drive C called wallpapers, sorry, folder. Let's create a drive C called wallpapers. Let's open it, and then let's go back and copy that logo JPEG file, copy it, and then let's head back into our server. Seems, I don't know, it seems I've not, the devices have not okay, I have to tangle some things in my server virtual box in order to be able to copy it directly from the local machine onto my virtual machine. So enable, here it says enable clipboard file transfer. So now I can go back and then copy. Now we can paste it here since we've enabled that in the virtual box, devices features. So now we see here our ensign. Let's open it. You see it's a JPEG file which has the ensign logo at the background. So now we have the picture. Let's now try and make this the background picture of our desktop. This can be tricky sometimes, so let's hope it works. Okay, so we go back to the tools. We use the group policy management. Where is it? Group policy management. Okay, so we click on our forest, which is the ensign. We go to the domains. We see our domain here. Right click it, and then we we go to the domain here, click the ensign. So we create a group policy object. We call this user desktop wallpaper. And then we click OK. So we see it here, the group object policy. We see it here. So how do we then apply this and make sure we create our desktop background? So now what we do is we go to the domain, seem to be forgetting something. Hold on, I need to pause and then come back. So since we've created our user policy, what we do is we edit it. Now as we edit, we come to user configurations. We go to policies, then among the policies, this is an administrative thing, so we go to the administrative template, and then we'll go to desktop, and then we'll go to desktop folder again. Then we come to desktop wallpaper. So this is where we apply the desktop wallpaper. This could be tricky, so first we have to enable it, then we set the sharing file. So remember, we have to share it. So let's go to our okay, let's cancel this first. Let's go back to our wallpaper folder we created, which has the ensign this thing. So we go in there and give it a share. Go to the properties, sharing. Let's share it with the administrator. Let's find people. So let's go to center first. Let's go to backup administrators, admin, check. Okay, so backup administrator, let's add this. Give them read and write. We add another one. Okay, so admin is there. Let's check again. Okay, give it another read and write, and then to center managers. Then we go to advisors, student advisors group. Okay, we give both this and that, so then we share. So this is the share path. It says win FFH something something, then wallpapers. Okay, so we go for, can copy this link, maybe paste it somewhere. I don't know how to forget. Okay, so notepad. Okay, so this is it. Let's keep it here for the meantime. Then we click done. We come to advanced. We call it wallpapers. Yes, the share name. Permissions, we give it to people like student advisors. Shared names. Okay, we give them read permissions. We add again center managers, so we add again, and then we apply here, and then okay. So now we go back to the group policy where we're trying to apply this to take effect. So let's enable it and then put the path here, the path, and then apply it and see if it works. Let's go back and copy. So this is the path. Copy. Let's go back, paste it, and see if it does work. I don't think it's supposed to be backslash. Maybe. Okay, so let's make this fail. Apply. Then we update. This is the moment of reckoning. So let's click CMD. GP policy update, then force. Let's see if it does work. Alright, so let's see. Okay, so let's do this back. Okay, let's see. Apply here, and then let's see. Let's repeat that. Or we could use the domain name as well. Let's edit again. Let's use the domain name this time and see if it works. No. Then it says ensign.jp. I think we made a mistake. We didn't. Okay. So let's try it again and see. Did we give wrong permissions? Okay, let's try this again and see. Edit. So I was able to make a little changes, and then we have our background changed to ensign. So let's see. In the user policies and group, in the group policy object we created, which is the user desktop wallpaper, we go to the policy, user policies, go to administrative templates, then we come to desktop, another desktop folder, we come to the desktop wallpaper, and here we see that we specify the path, which is the domain name, then the wallpaper folder we created, and then the file itself. I was making a mistake because I was just making this a JPEG file, which was supposed to be a PNG file, so it kept on coming as black screen, but when I changed it and then did it fill, it is now changed to that. But after we've done this, in order to do this, we have to make sure we apply this to the other users. So what we do here is that let's close the group object here. Let's close it, drag this, and then put it on all this, drag it. Sometimes this, hold it, oh god, you grab this, hold it, and then no, we grab our and see if we can. Gosh, sometimes this can be really frustrating. And then okay, let's try and link this, link a group object to this. It's enforced, it's been linked to this. You see the group object. So let's try and link a group object to this. The group object is the user, and then let's link it to advisors. Oh God. This can be frustrating sometimes. It's easier doing it this way. Okay, it's enforced to okay, we can see here the advisors, it's enforced here, it's also linked to this. So should we log in to this, we will see that the background has also changed there. Let's go to the managers, let's see if it's also enforced there. It is. So now to do that, let's try and sign in by another user, and then on a Windows 11 and join the domain and see if it does work. Oh gosh. It's another. Let's sign out of this, and okay, to be able to join this, it means this domain has to be on. So let's pause. We've been able to change the desktop background through the user group object policy, like we see, but we need to make sure we tackle the last part of the assignment, which says that the web browser must open with this default page, which we have opened here. So let's copy the URL here and then go back to our group policy. So we click this, go back to our group policy again, we edit it, and then we click here, we add that URL, we add it, and then we see BYU pathway as the default browser page. So we've been able to do that. We add this and then we close it. Now we close. So let's try, and then let's see if that's what's going to open. As the default browser. Complete the setup. No, I think. Okay, let's go. Okay, so let's try again and see if it's going to be the page to open. So So now, since you are going to add this page, we go here and then we copy the URL and we come back to server. Before we came here, we had to go into the admin, the GPO created, and then we went to, as usual, user configuration policies. We went to policies, then we went to administrative templates, you can see. Then we came down to Windows components, then all the way down to Internet Explorer. In the Internet Explorer, we go to the disable changing home page settings. We click on edit, then we click enable. We put the home page here, we apply, then we click OK, refresh. Let's test this theory and then see if it actually worked. Okay, I think we might have to log out and log back in. Since we've done that, let's log back out and log back in and see if it works. No. Administrator, sign up. Let's log back in and see. Let's open our Explorer and see if BYU that comes up. Oh no, still. Well, I did my best. I honestly, time is against me, so I have to end the video. It's too long, 1 hour 23 minutes. So I'm sure some other time will work, but for now, we've been able to change the desktop. So let's check the rubric and then see. We're able to create virtual machine, promote our domain, active directory domain. We're able to create the active directory object. We're able to also create the user account, the shared folder permissions. We're able to do that. Share folder, for these two folders for the advising. We're able to do that. Group policy, we're able to do that. And then password policies, we did all that. So it's just the background, so let's hope what we did is enough. I know I wouldn't get full marks for this, but at least did my best. Time is against me, so let's end the video here. Thanks for watching.